Hello again. First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody who contributed to the conversation in the comments on the last video. I'm obsessed with this stuff, coding and the philosophy of coding and the modern environment of being a developer. And AI's role in all of this. I'm in love with this. I've been in love with this my whole life. This is my obsession. Truly. So anybody that helps me indulge in that obsession, I am, deeply grateful for. So thank you. I also apologize for the lighting and the audio and the fact that I'm eating a burger. I just needed to get this out. Over 10 years ago, I came across a video that was creative people shouldn't learn how to code. I don't remember a single thing from the video outside of the thumbnail and the title. No, I don't remember the thumbnail at all. I'm joshing. The only real takeaway that I had is that at least one person had enough information to come to the conclusion that creative people shouldn't learn to program. Maybe he was a creative person, and felt like he was wasting his life away coding. Either way, I don't really remember what it was. I don't even think I watched the whole thing. It had an effect on me. It was one of the things amongst a pile of other things that stopped me from ever getting into coding. And since that day, like a lot of people, I always kind of wish I knew how, there's something so cool about being able to take a computer and make it do whatever you want. I got something stuck in my teeth. That's so awkward. Okay. In media and movies and stuff, coders or hackers, they're portrayed as these sweaty, neckbeard type dudes, Redditors basically. But the reality is that they can do basically magic. Someone referred to it as that a long time ago, and that idea hits, and it's true. Making technology do whatever you want it to do, using just writing the code to tell the machine what to do, the machine with access to the internet, mind you, is a superpower and is very cool. So if that's true, why wouldn't I have done it? Why wouldn't I have done it by now? And the reality is that this coding experience in my head existed on the other side of about a year of just work. Maybe 2 years of just work. And every year, a year would go by, and funny. And I'd look back and be like, if I had started last year, I'd be done now. I'd know enough to make these cool technologies. And every year I wouldn't do it because nothing sounds worse than spending a year learning how to code. Something that I already have reason to believe isn't something that creative-minded people should be doing. Now, to my credit, that may have been true. That is not true anymore, and this is very, very important that this sinks in. The world we have now is not the world we had 3 years ago. What AI has done to the modern, the modern everything, the zeitgeist, I don't really know what that term means, but what it has done is whatever the internet did times 1,000. Just imagine business prior to the internet, just how unrecognizable it looks to anybody born in the last 30 years. The internet changed everything. And this is, in my opinion, an order of magnitude more substantial. And one of the reasons that is it's the end of learning. And I'm gonna explain what that means, because when I've said that a few times, people just immediately interpret something that isn't inaccurate, but it's also not a bad thing. One of my favorite examples to illustrate this is when you put directions in on your phone. When you're at home, you type in a place to go. Maybe it's a place you've been, but you want to see, the ideal route considering traffic. I don't know. Maybe that's an LA thing. But we put in the directions to the place we're going almost everywhere we go. Oh God, I ate that last bit way too fast. Before, we used to have to learn how to get places. We wouldn't necessarily know where that place is, or we don't even need the address of it. We would learn the sequence of events that got us there. Be that context clues around, or actually a path from, your origin point, your house. Sometimes people be I don't know how to get there from here. And so, you would have to learn in order to do that. And now we have a system where you just type in the address and you will get there. And if you end up in the wrong spot, it's not because you forgot how to get there, it's because you typed it in wrong. So we no longer have to learn how to get places, but the energy that was spent, the energy and time that was spent doing that actually shifted towards remembering things like addresses, or more interestingly, places that we want to go. Having a general understanding of every corner of a city Yes, that might be cool, and maybe we lose that. But like, people don't seem to be grasping what we gain in its place, which is more hyper specialized things for the particular individual. That's absurd. And so the whole notion of what it means to like know how to get somewhere, or could you get us there if you had to? The whole notion of what that means completely broke and reformed. So if you were to ask somebody 100 years ago, like, hey, how do we get here? They would think in terms of orientation in their environment. If you ask somebody now, they would be like, oh, let me check, and text somebody, yo, hit me with the Addy or whatever, right? The things you have to know to get where you gotta go are different. One of them is just like way more compressed and way more palatable to on an individual level. God damn it! We lost the general, like, people generally understanding an area. And like, people act like that matters. People genuinely are like, oh God, but consider everything we gave up. Like people who know the town. It's like, great. You know that you can still do whatever you want. That's like equating like, oh no, Google Translate, now I'll never learn a language. It's like, do whatever you want. What? Like, actually what? We didn't lose that. Shut up. Do not worry about what other people are doing. Or like, there's old grumps. Did it get darker? There's like the old grumps that are like, oh, the internet these days, kids don't know how to change a tire. They could probably get it changed faster and better than you, because you don't know how to use a phone. You needed to know how to do that. This is essentially, I'm gonna loop this back up. Unbelievably, this is all the same tangent, that's the word. Essentially, the point I'm making is it doesn't matter how you get there. The reality is you get there, and it really doesn't matter. And the developer landscape that we have today is essentially the same thing. You don't need to learn how to code, and I would argue it's actually detrimental to look at it that way. I lost a significant chunk of my life waiting till I had the motivation to learn how to code, and then one day, due to the access to ChatGPT, just a simple ChatGPT premium subscription, off of nothing other than that, I thought, okay, I'm gonna actually not learn how to code and instead just start building stuff and see what happens. Like, what if I just skipped that step? And I'll tell you, like, there's a high resolution sort of like, there's intricacies at play here, because I started playing a game where you don't know that you're learning while you're learning. If you've thought about it, you should try seriously, but don't learn. Don't go learning. I'm so serious about this. Just build the thing. Go to ChatGPT or download Cursor and just type in like an app that does this and see what goes wrong. And then copy what went wrong back to the team and be like, hey, this went wrong. And then it'll be like, oh, okay, how about this? You do this. Do that as many times as it take. If you identify circular logic, you go back to your original prompt. You're like, hey, do this thing, but avoid this problem. It's like, okay. The reality is that 99% of the time, and that's only going to go up in the next few years, you are one prompt away from the thing you're looking for. If you just asked a slightly better question, you could be done with the coding. That's true, and that feels like cheating, because you don't have to learn in that circumstance. You just have to kind of like fill your brain with the proper context to ask a better question. You have to look at your prompt and be like, okay, what is this missing? I don't have to learn how to code this. I just have to figure out how to ask a better question. And this ties in, sorry, I'm gonna wrap this up, but this is the most interesting thing to me of all time. This ties into the implications of AI, general super AI. This ties in with the implications of that so well, which is, I forgot. Oh, that it levels the playing field unlike we've ever seen. Anybody that's anti-AI, in my opinion, is as dumb as you could be. I think you are as dumb as a human being who like lives and breathes and eats and shits and sleeps could possibly be, because the playing field could be essentially leveled. Your access to information basically is your agency. So people who have great lives and could make their lives better if they wanted to, they have access to information you don't have. That's a huge resource. That basically, we got books, and that kind of more people got smart generally. And then we got like the internet. A lot of people got really smart. We became aware of a lot of dumb people running around, like a lot. But that's just like a cool quirk of, becoming entirely interconnected. We're still figuring it out. But the reality is that enabled a lot of everyone, pretty much. If you don't like your life circumstance, you could probably Google, like, what can I do to make this better? Get 10 ideas and be like, which one of these is right for me? Get started on it. And you have a different life. We did not have that option. You did your dad's job or got married off. You did that until, like, evolutionarily yesterday. Like, we are brand new to this kind of agency, and this is the final step in enabling the individual, because the barrier to entry for basically whatever life you want is, do you know you want it? That's it. You do not have to know how to do anything anymore. You just have to actually want it. Because the information at a pace that you are capable of keeping up with is now within arm's reach for almost any individual. And people act like OpenAI is this, like, just another big giant, or any of these AI companies. Like, they're secondary in the grand scheme of things. What they are providing, if you are not using that to transform your life, you're missing out. You will eventually be, but they're not like out here just soaking up all this money like big startup bros. It's like, yes, on the one hand, that's what's happening, but on the other hand, they're very, very similar to the internet service providers of the day. Obviously, we still have internet service providers, but like, when you think about it, the people who provided the internet, they didn't make out with as big a bag as the people who used the internet to transform their lives and provide value to people and become wildly wealthy, or even just happy, like transform your life, the opportunity to transform your life. The internet service providers did in a sense do that, and if you could pay for an internet plan, you had the opportunity to change your life. But the people who really, really benefited were the ones who used it. And this is what we have today. Do not waste a single breath hating on these companies or hating on AI. Just use it, abuse it, because you have absolutely no reason to be living a life you don't want to live anymore. Don't hate, and don't learn how to code. Don't learn anything. Just do what you want. Type it into ChatGPT, see what comes up. If it's not what you were looking for, ask a better question. This is how this starts. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot stress this enough. This is how this starts. This is going to be a very strange in-between phase that we're going to look back on. Oh, I got to get going pretty soon. That we're going to look back on as the time AI was kind of I. That's intelligence, by the way. It was kind of intelligence. Sorry, intelligent. I love you. I loved that burger. And I love coding and AI. Sorry.